Now, beginning this presentation, the first thing I'd like to do is mention for all of you that this video is designed to attack the very heart of Hollywood and also attack the very heart of Walt Disney itself. I've been mentioning in the past that the world is being prepared to accept the doctrines of devils. I've been mentioning that in the past over and over again. The year today is 2014. Is there any evidence that will suggest to us that it is in fact true that Hollywood, the media in general, is teaching people to embrace the teachings of the occult and to accept the Luciferian doctrines of the New Age? Is there any evidence that in 2014 the world is standing at a much darker place than it ever has in the past? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm inviting now your undivided attention as we go to look at these modern day teachings that are twisting the teachings of the past and bringing forth Luciferian doctrines, and they're being fed right into you and you're accepting these things wholeheartedly. Let's begin this presentation, ladies and gentlemen, and please, if you can, all you have to do is hit share and share this video with people whom you know. And now, without going any further, let's begin this presentation.
Now, what we are about to examine is Maleficent. That's right, it's one of the #1 hits so far of 2014. And this movie has changed a lot of perspectives of the original Maleficent. Now, when I say original, I mean just that. So, which means, has Maleficent always been there? The answer is yes, Maleficent has always been there. Who is Maleficent, you may ask? Well, Maleficent is a character in Disney's original Sleeping Beauty. She is an evil and wicked witch who found joy and happiness in the misery of others. In quick summary, the original Sleeping Beauty story begins in a kingdom far away, a beautiful kingdom in which a royal baby was born, a beautiful princess was born. And during the time of the blessing of this child, Maleficent makes her first appearance to come not to bless the child but to put a curse on the child, that at the 16th birthday of this child, she would prick her finger on the needle of a spinning wheel and she would die. However, after she took off, one of the good fairies still had one blessing to grant unto this child. And though she could not undo the curse which was placed on the child, her blessing for the princess is that on her 16th birthday, if she does touch the needle of the spinning wheel, she will not surely die, but that she would fall into a deep slumber, a deep sleep until her true love's first kiss. And only that kiss would be what awakens her from her long slumber. Now, all throughout the series, Maleficent has always been known as the evil and wicked witch. Nothing good of her ever came out. She was never a good person. She was a witch who was highly involved in witchcraft, and she used her magic spells for doing evil deeds. And this is not a surprise, ladies and gentlemen, because witchcraft is always evil. Nothing good comes from witchcraft and wizardry. Now, for the sake of time, ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to know more about the original Sleeping Beauty, you can feel free to watch the animated movie, or you can even read the book for yourselves. So there's many sources out there to aid you with that. However, I want to focus my attention on the new movie of Maleficent for 2014, played out by lead actor Angelina Jolie. First, I will give all of you a heads up notice. I am not here to bash Angelina Jolie's acting, because she acted well and she did her part the way she should. Secondly, the scenery that was laid out, everything seemed to be very realistic. It was professionally edited. However, though the acting was good and everything was laid out professionally and it looked good, the question is this: was it a good logic to be introduced and to be brought forth into the modern audience and to the younger generation that is growing up? Just examine the title of the movie. The title of the movie is Maleficent. What is the movie about? Well, it's exactly what it says. It's about Maleficent. The intention of the movie was to glorify Maleficent and make her look good. The central focus of the movie Maleficent is strictly about her. It's her story. This movie is called a Disney twist because that is exactly what it is. It's a twist. It twisted the original story and inverted everything. And it makes the people look bad, and it makes Maleficent and the demonic looking creatures as the ones who are good. It starts out with Maleficent being the protector of the forest. She was a beautiful fairy. Then comes along this boy, a human being, and she falls in love with this human being. To make a long story short, this boy ended up betraying her by trying to kill her and cutting off her wings. He did this all so that he can be crowned the next king of this big empire, this kingdom. After being crowned king, he was wedded to his queen. And then they have a child together. And this child is the Princess Aurora. And she would be the one that Maleficent then would come and put a curse upon. Now here is where it gets interesting, because after that time when she placed the curse on the little girl, Maleficent still decided to follow up with this girl's life when she was growing up, and she's being raised by the fairies. Make note, in the original, the fairies were the ones who looked after the little girl, and they raised her without the aid of this evil witch. In fact, Maleficent only sought out for destruction of this girl. However, in this new twist, Maleficent was the one actually who was aiding and watching over this girl. She was acting as her godmother, watching over her, making sure that nothing happens to her until her 16th birthday. To summarize everything and cut the story short, in the original, Maleficent prevented the prince from going to kiss Aurora and waking her up from her long slumber. She turns into a dragon and decides to attack this prince and prevent him by all means from surviving and from going to save the people of the kingdom. In the new twist, Maleficent attempted to remove the curse away from this girl. However, she could not undo the curse, so she attempted to aid the prince, help the prince to go and kiss this girl. However, that kiss of the prince could not save the princess. And then this evil witch began to then pour out her heart, and she begins to cry, and then she ends up kissing the Princess Aurora on her forehead, and the princess immediately awakens, and Maleficent becomes the hero of the day. Okay, so now what? Big deal, it's just a movie, right? It has no impact. Here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. Make note, ever since the movie Maleficent came out, nearly everybody who was a huge fan of the movie, people that watched the movie, they all were inspired by the movie, and many want to become the next Maleficent. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? We know that Maleficent has always been there, and she had always been an evil witch. No child who grew up during the time of the Sleeping Beauty ever said that they wanted to become just like this evil witch Maleficent. However, in 2014, that changed everything. People's perspective on the evil witch had changed, and people now desired to be like this witch. Going from young children, from little girls, to grown men. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, I did not make a mistake when I uttered the words. I said from little girls to old grown-up men. As you can see for yourselves, ladies and gentlemen, these horns, these devil-like horns of Maleficent are being sold everywhere. People are buying these things, and it's going and sweeping the nations. This movie is a blockbuster. This movie has influenced a lot of people and inspired many people to do many different things. They now have the desire to become just like Maleficent. And I'm not done yet. Let's look at the horns of Maleficent. When we look at the horns, ladies and gentlemen, what we see is a transparency. These horns resemble the horns of the goat of Mendes. They represent the horns of Baphomet. These are the horns that represent devil worship. Now, it is important to note this. Devils like to refer to themselves as the guardians. Maleficent is referred to as the guardian of the forest. She was the protector or the guardian of the forest. Now, I'm going to put a pause on Maleficent, and let's go and look at where we can see also a transparency in this same logic. Let's examine the movie Percy Jackson. The Percy Jackson series, the first one and the second one, we can see a clear transparency also where Percy Jackson had a protector, and his protector, the black guy, he was in fact half goat and half human. He represented Pan. He looked like Pan. Now, for those of you who know Pan, Pan is a demon that looks like half human and half goat, exactly in the same resemblance as that of Baphomet. He is referred to as the protector or the guardian of the forest. He likes to play a flute, this demon-like figure, and he is the guardian of the forest. In the movie Percy Jackson, this protector of Percy, he was half human and half goat. This boy had the horns above his head, of course, and he had the legs of a goat. Now, you think that this is something, ladies and gentlemen? This is nothing even compared to what I want to show you next. Because a few years ago, there was a movie that came out, and that movie was called The Golden Compass. Many of you should know that movie. In that movie, it took you to a world where every human being had a demon that followed them around, and these demons were their protectors and guardians. These demons took many different forms of different animals. They will always follow the human being wherever they go. The directors of the movie, they said in an interview that the worst thing you can do to a human being is take their demon away from them. Now, don't take my words for it. Listen to this clip.